Hi, my name's Natty, and in previous videos, I have spoken about how I used to be a men's rights activist, and I have broken down why their central worldview, that the West is gynocentric, which means women-centered at the expense of men, is false. And I've brought in what the Orthodox Church, Orthodox Christian Church, thinks about this. So today I'm going to focus on the relationship between the sexes again, and I'm going to bring up a belief and a phrase that I think is pretty common. It goes, men need respect and women need love. And when I first heard that, I thought it was kind of wise. It definitely has some truth to it. I've heard it everywhere, really. I've heard it in relationship books and marriage talks and seminars. And the relationship coach, Alison Armstrong, author of the Queen's Code, she has built an entire framework around it. And she, by no means, is not the only one. She teaches that many of our struggles come from misunderstanding what the other sex really needs. Men, she says, crave appreciation and honour. And women long to be cherished and understood. And yeah, there's definitely truth in those two statements, for sure. We do misunderstand each other, and we do need to learn respect and gentleness. But from an Orthodox Christian point of view, there's something much deeper at stake. Something that makes a difference between healing and simply appeasing. You see, Orthodox Christianity teaches that the root of human suffering didn't begin with a communication problem between Adam and Eve. It began with a willful act. Adam's fall wasn't an accident. He wasn't coerced by Eve, and he wasn't following Eve's command. He chose to trust his own judgment over God's command. And from that moment, the human will, the power by which we choose the good, became wounded. The fall wasn't just moral, it was ontological. And ontology means the entirety of being. Human nature itself turned inward, away from communion with God. So when the church speaks about salvation, it isn't talking about God fixing our moods or our circumstances. It's about the healing of the will. Christ, the new Adam, redeems humanity not by demanding respect, but by obeying. Not my will, he said, but thine be done. That is where true healing begins. And here's where Alison Armstrong's framework, as wise as it is in many ways, stops short. She describes men as needing appreciation and women as needing safety and understanding. Her goal is relational harmony through mutual understanding. But Orthodoxy's goal isn't harmony, it's transfiguration. The problem with humanity isn't that we don't appreciate each other enough. It's that our wills are bent towards ourselves. If a man's need for respect isn't crucified with Christ, it becomes ego. The old Adam demanding honour. And if a woman's instinct to keep peace isn't illumined by truth, it becomes appeasement, feeding that same unhealed ego. Without the cross, what looks like love often hides a quiet power struggle. The man still craving admiration, the women still fearing rejection, and we call it harmony. But really, this is politeness. Politeness at the edge of the fall. And that's why the healing of Adam's will matters so deeply. Orthodoxy doesn't teach that men are strong and women are supportive. It teaches that both are called to die, to lay down their self-will in love. In Christian marriage, the man is not the hero who needs constant affirmation. He is the servant who lays down his life for his wife, just like Ephesians 5 says, just as Christ did for the church. And the woman, she is not the appeaser who keeps the peace. She is the image of the church herself, faithful, discerning, courageous, saying yes to God freely and truthfully, just like the Theotokos, Mary, the Mother of God. Respect and honour are good, but they're not the goal. The goal is kenosis, self-emptying love that heals the will. When the will is healed, love and respect aren't bargains anymore. They become gifts. When we stop short at men need respect, we risk baptizing the fall. We sanctify ego and we call it design. We tell women their holiness lies in keeping men happy. And we tell men that their strength lies in being admired. But Christ shows us another way, a pattern the world calls foolish. The strength that empties itself, the authority that washes feet, the headship that bleeds. And that's the pattern of the cross. And that is the only path that heals the human will. Not flattery, not agreement, but love that surrenders self for the sake of the other. It's not psychology, it's theosis, the slow burning work of grace that restores us to the likeness of God. So yes, we should respect each other, we should listen, we should be kind, but remember, the healing between men and women doesn't come from appreciation, it comes from repentance. It isn't achieved by better communication, but by the transfiguration of the will, the surrender that turns self-love into self-giving. Only then can Adam and Eve truly meet again, but not in the shadow of the garden, but in the light of the resurrection. Thank you for watching, and if this message resonated with you, please consider sharing it. And let's keep talking about what truly heals men and women. It says on the study notes in the Orthodox Study Bible, in the first few pages of Genesis, that Adam's will is what needs healing first in man because he ate the fruit willfully. So I think that's something to meditate on. And if you are interested in anything to do with Orthodox Christianity, I am just a layman. I'm a woman making videos on YouTube. I speak to members of clergy to get guidance for what I say here. And we do not have women who are members of clergy in our church, but we do have women who do teach the faith. Women are allowed to speak on theology. So if you would like any more advice and guidance regarding Orthodox Christianity, I advise you to contact your local Orthodox Christian church or somebody who is a known authority on the lives of the saints or theology or anything the church teaches. God bless.